Hey guys, we're going to look at Ableton Live 10 and the Behringer XR18, and we're facing one big question here. Does it work? Can you use it? And so, without further ado, we have a sample Ableton track up here just to provide us some audio. We're going to check out how the connections work and what you're dealing with here. All right, a little bit of backing music there. Got a few different tracks going, and I'm going to show you how we have this set up in the studio. Right now, I do have the XR18 software running, and this is what it looks like. This is a download from Behringer when you buy an XR18, and you have movable sliders. There's all kinds of setups for the USB ins and outs and that type of stuff, and that looks like this. It looks like this. I'm sorry, bear with me for a second here. Okay. There is a way in the XR18 software that you can tell it what screens you want on top and what you're doing. And I haven't set it yet. That's why I saw that little problem. All right. So this has to do with the analog inputs on it. So I'm dealing with 18 analog inputs across the top here. It's 16 of them are that combination XLR and quarter inch, and it seems to work well. I have synthesizers, microphones, guitar amps, effect processors being returned, and so far everything is clean and works well, and also line ins. And there's no physical inputs on the jack for 17 and 18. I don't think, other than like a little maybe like aux in jack, little 1/8 inch thing, which I don't use. But it does return that on USB. So if I look at how I have my USB return set up, this is pretty much how it comes right out of the box. And it just makes sense. Channel 1 on my mixer is going to see USB line 1. Channel 2 is going to see line 2. Now, I can duplicate stuff. I can set up so my USB inputs feeds 3 different channels. Not easy. It's not a problem to work with this. Likewise, over here, I also have my USB sends and my USB sends. Same type of a rig, but you're going to have far more connections that you can make, and this does not seem to be duplicatable. So if I have channel 1 being sent on USB 1, I think I can get like channels to send on multiple USBs, but what I don't think I can do. Yeah, see, if I try to get one channel to send on two different USBs at the same time. Oh, you know what? Forget I said anything. Evidently that works. But over here, more connections for the auxiliary. You have the effects left and right, the 6 buses, and these are connections that are on the XR18 as well. There's XLR jacks for that as well. Effects and main. So it looks like you can make any kind of USB send work off of anything that you want here. There's more options here. The Ultranet, which I do not use. There's other videos on that. But we're just going to stick with the main normal stuff here. All right. So looking back at Ableton now. Okay. So Ableton, I got my little test song going here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something about how this studio is set up. You saw me just running the XR software on the same screen that I'm running Ableton, whereas in reality, I'm really looking at my Ableton on the top screen over here. There's a screen on the right. This is me. shooting the video so I can see what you're seeing. And then down here, I picked up a planar 22-inch touchscreen. And this is where I'm actually running the XR18 from. So if I wanted to, say, move a level around or what have you, it's all based on touchscreen. I can go into, like, say, the EQ of a particular channel. There we go. And touchscreen stuff does seem to work pretty well with the XR18 software that it comes with, which is nice. But getting back up into the Ableton, the XR18 does seem to have very easy connections to, I would guess, any DAW. So we're going to take a look back at what the Ableton is looking like when you do this. Now, to access that, you hold down Control, press comma. This brings up your preferences screen. And then over on the side, you're looking for the tab that says Audio. Click that. You'll want to use an ASIO driver, which the XR18 has one. And I can tell you, it seems to work well. There's also drivers like ASIO for All, which I've had gear in the past that if you have some kind of a sketchy driver from whatever product, but it seems like the Behringer one is solid on its own. And then for your device, you can see I have a couple different devices here, but we're going to choose the XR. Now, this is where you can start making some decisions. If I go to my input configuration here, and you're going to see that I'm only using a few of these, but I certainly could be using any combinations all the way up through channel 17 and 18. I don't really find it necessary to run that many. I'm not running like live drums, but yeah, you could do that. So I have input 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then I'm running a stereo pair over here, which I use strictly for my guitar processor. That's all I need, but if I needed more, I could be switching this stuff on from here. As far as my output configuration goes, I've made a decision to mix the stuff in Ableton as opposed to mixing it on the XR18 software. I have tried it both ways. It does work both ways. To do that for your output configuration, what you would do is you would just start making sure that your outputs in Ableton are individually all turned on. I don't think you'd actually be using the stereo ones. I'm not doing that. I'm just sending out 1 and 2, and that goes directly to my monitors, so I can listen to it. So I can have it on my headphones, I can put it in my speakers. And other than that, I'm actually doing the mixing right here using level controls. I also have an Akai with sliders on it, which seems to work these faders nicely. So as far as setting it up, no real issue with that. So my report is this: if you've got Ableton and you're considering the Behringer XR18, I've run into no issues. It doesn't seem to have any kind of a conflict. It is fairly easy to set up. The XR18 software itself is good, and again, I'm going to show it to you up here on my screen here again. Let me make myself a little smaller for you. Again, this is an instance of it that I just happen to be running on this computer just so I can show you. But I'm actually controlling it on a second PC. That has to do with some choices that I personally made about the XR18 is Wi-Fi, and it wants your computer to connect to it as a Wi-Fi source. I know there's other ways to do it. It can work as a hotspot, I guess, which is how I'm using it, or it has direct connection, Ethernet or that type of stuff. I've chosen to just run it as a hotspot. So on my second PC, it's just completely Wi-Fi. The issue that I have with doing that on my main computer is I want my main computer still connected to the internet, so that I can stream live, so that I can record live. And because I'm not running any Ethernet cable, it doesn't want to make that connection. I have tested it. It does work with an Ethernet cable. But I have other devices that I would like to be running as well, which I can show you pretty easily. Forgive that the camera is going to be a little bit jolty here for a sec, but I'm going to show you on my desk what this looks like. So we got the push 2 microphone. All right, there's the XR18 software that I'm actually running. This is what you're seeing on your screen. This is me controlling the video and cool Twilight Zone effect. But over here, I have a little Android tablet, which it's running the same software at the same time, and it's doing something kind of pretty amazing. So like if, for example, if I pull down, we'll make it easy to see, there's like sort of a yellow double fader here. This is my guitars. If I pull it down here, it also pulls down there, even though I'm controlling it from here. And so I did want multiple devices hooked up. I also have it on my phone, should I need it. I'll get us back to normal here. Hello. And with all those choices in mind, it just was not a connection that I thought was going to work well for me. But I have tested it. It will work. But for me, this is just how I prefer to do it. So the end result, guys, is very much this. XR18 from Behringer, Ableton Live 10. It hooked right up. They both discovered each other. The control all completely seems to work. And if you're using the XR18 as kind of your mixer in the room, like I'm going to send this mic into Ableton and then I'm going to send my guitar into Ableton, you probably are not going to use all 18 of the USB sends, nor returns. And it does look like if I wanted to do the mixing in the XR18, use those effects, use those EQs, it looks like I can do that. But at this point, I'm so used to just mixing right in Ableton that didn't really seem like an attraction for me, but it did seem like something that absolutely could be done. If you have any questions or comments, write them down. I will be watching this, and I'll answer any questions you may have, and hope you guys have an excellent day.